And we are live on YouTube.
Let's do this.
Hi, I'll call this meeting to order. Please note that Supervisor Merlino was unable to attend tonight due to a family medical situation. I'm Deputy Super Jim Niles. This is the May 7th, 2024 regular meeting of the Town of Lake Luzerne Town Board. Please rise and we'll salute the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, there's agendas over on the table if anybody needs them. We are going to make one small change to the agenda. And that is, we have a proposed resolution to allow Gemma, Craig, and Jessica Argent to operate a lemonade stand. So Lori, would you read that? And after Lori reads it, I'm going to ask for public comment on that one resolution. And then we'll go back to our regular agenda. Pardon me?
Jessica wants to.
Okay,
Then we gotta do a public hearing on the STR changes too.
yeah, that'll be that.
Okay.
Proposed resolution to allow Craig and Jessica Argent to operate a lemonade stand at the Wayside Beach from May 31st to August 25th, 2024, from 8 AM to 7 PM. It's the former site of Mad Dog's hot dog stand, and to obtain a vendor's license from the town clerk in the amount of $350 for the year.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, is there anybody that wants to speak about this one resolution? Gemma, do you want to talk? You can if you want. Sure, pull up a chair and talk to us.
So I am Craig Argent, reside at 668 Howell Road. This is my daughter, Gemma. She's 9 years old. Last summer, she started a lemonade business at her grandmother's residence, and she wanted to expand, so we wanted to give her the opportunity this summer.
Because she had passed away, so we can't do it anymore. So we think doing it at the beach would be a good idea. Our title is Adirondack Sips and Sweets. We have different kinds of flavor of fresh squeezed lemonade and homemade cookies.
So we're working with her on the business side of things. My wife actually has the DBA on the company. She was unable to attend today. She's live, I think, on the call due to a medical issue. So we have a DBA. We also have lined up for the necessary temporary vendor licensing permits through the Department of Health. We also carry a Ag and Markets home processor permit to make the cookies at home and follow all their regulations. We also have an EIN. We also are filed as a state sales tax recipient. We also carry a $2 million food liability insurance policy in the event something happens.
Right.
That covers food liability and any accidents at the site.
Anybody have any questions?
I do. Why do you want to go to the beach?
Because we think we're gonna do good there. My mom had lunch there once, and on a Thursday, 300 cars had passed. That's not working vehicles. So that's why we wanted to go to the beach.
That's a good reason. Are you going to serve anything else other than lemonade?
We also strawberry pineapple cookies. Last year we tried lemon and strawberry, but did not taste good with the lemonade. It was my idea.
So with the cookies, that's why we have the Ag and Markets home processor exemption, which requires us to have our well tested by state licensing agency. And we submit all that to Ag and Markets for that exemption to do prepackaged baked cookies, because they are heated to a requirement that kills any foodborne illnesses. They're also labeled with the ingredients, our company name, our address, and that it is a home processor.
I was told by the town clerk's office that you had everything required.
What's your background?
My background,
So you know.
so currently I am a maintenance manager at Finch Paper in the power plant. Previous experience, I am an 8-year Navy veteran. I was a nuclear mechanic in the Navy. And
So you're out of your element.
yeah, I like numbers. I dealt with numbers and engineering in the Navy, and with my job at Finch, I deal with a lot of contracts and numbers and stuff with that, so. I just wanted to give her every opportunity to learn business structure and bring her to a board meeting and see
Sure.
how this works.
Okay, we've had some discussion. I heard a first and a second, I believe.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. So you'll
Good luck,
have,
I'll be there.
All right, thank you much.
when you come in to get the vendor's permit, you'll have to bring in your DOH and your insurance papers, and we need to take copies of those, okay?
All right, thank you much.
You're welcome.
Good luck, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Um, The next item on the agenda is the public hearing, but I was wondering if we would consider interviewing Sonia Harris first.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Sonia, you want to come up? Now, I was told by the town clerk's office that we did have
Yeah.
another person that expressed interest.
We didn't,
We never got a
we
letter.
never received anything. So we'll just move forward.
Okay,
I believe that they may be asking to have a second alternate as the planning board does. So if that happens, we'll just end up with 2, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not bad.
do you think that potential person that applied is no longer interested? Or,
I don't know.
Okay.
Chris has talked to a relative of that person, and I believe that Matt Palich, I think he's on Zoom.
Yeah.
He reached out to someone regarding it too, but the person wanted to listen to a zoning board meeting before he decided whether or not he wanted to participate. So he didn't send in an application. We'll just move forward.
well, if the choosing of the board, we may. or
Move
may not
forward.
wanna Go ahead after the interview.
Hmm?
There's another person that's interested.
What do you mean? If we're moving forward means we're not gonna, we can't hold the other person. I mean, okay, re-explain what you mean. Maybe I don't understand.
If we have another potential applicant, we may want to interview that potential applicant before we decide.
We don't have
No,
another
we don't
applicant
have,
today.
no, we don't have a firm applicant. So at this point in date and time, we don't have another applicant. That's the point. That sometimes you gotta take your net out of the water.
Well,
Can't-
we did
We've
receive-
done this before to someone else.
Okay, all right, Sonia. Most of us already know you, but tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Sonny Harris. I've lived here my whole life. I live up on 661 River Road. Have a piece of property there with my husband and our 2 children. My daughter's moved away now. I worked at the school here in Luzerne for about 8 years as a teaching assistant. I've been on the PTSA, the Booster Club. Help out with anything I can in the community. Now I work in Corinth now as a secretary for the superintendent, assistant superintendent. I want to learn more about the zoning. I think it's interesting. I don't have a lot of experience in it. I know we built our house in the Adirondack Park, so I learned a lot about that during that time, but I just want to learn a little more as my kids. For me personally, my kids are going to want property here, and I would like to learn a little more about the zoning. I don't really know what else. I mean, most people know me, so
Any questions?
it's a learning curve. I'm always willing to learn something new, and I want to do stuff right for the community. So I saw the position was available and didn't want it to go vacant.
Annie, this is on your alley.
Yes,
Thanks, you're,
I've been on the zoning board for many years. Many years. And I personally, I feel you would fit right in.
The purpose of the zoning board is to grant variances of the zoning rules. They meet once a month, typically once a month, unless we don't have anything in front of us in which the meeting is canceled, but it's the second Thursday of each month at 7 o'clock. There's a board of 5 people, and if someone's not able to attend, then the alternate steps in and acts in their place. Alternates are required to be at all the meetings so that because let me back up a little bit. Variances typically take at least 2 months, sometimes longer. And so you need to be at all the meetings that you can possibly be at so that you are current with what is going on. If there's some week that you have to step in, you would have heard the previous month's meeting to know what is going on. Other than learning the ordinance, there's really not much I can tell you other than that.
Okay,
So I'll let you guys proceed with any questions that you have, but I just wanted to let you know that it's
okay,
granting variances of the standards is what it is.
okay, thank you.
Sometimes in the 6 or 7 years I was on it, 2 or 3 times the decisions were difficult because of the kind of the conflict between cut and dry zoning law and a human factor. I guess that would be my only caution. It's just be aware of that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I've been on many committees that have had to make important decisions, and
Yeah.
I'm not the only one making the decision, so I would work with the group on that.
Yeah.
I've known Sonia since we're kids. So, I mean, I have no questions about to her. I mean, I know her that well. I think she has the intelligence and the ability, comprehension as far as with to follow along. You know, I think she'd be very good at it. I mean, anything that she wouldn't understand, I think she'd pick up. Someone just guide her through it.
And you'll ask
As far as
questions.
learning curve.
You ask questions. It's good.
Yep.
Jane, you have any questions?
No, I'll make a motion to approve her.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
Mhm.
You will have to stop in our office and sign and get your oath of office and sign the book. I know you work, what are your hours?
I work till 4, but I can try to get out one day a little bit early.
Okay, or I can always, if I know you're coming, stay. I mean, what's it take you 10-15 minutes
Yeah.
to get here? So somebody can always stay to do that, or
We have a zoning board meeting Thursday night too. I
and
can
Karen can
always.
administer the oath of office.
This Thursday night,
Mhm.
is that something you'd like me to start?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna have the books ready by then. We're extremely busy right now. I will try to get them ready for you, but yeah, the first meeting is Thursday night. It would, even if you just come and sit through it, so you get an
Okay.
idea of what goes on.
Yeah, you.
You also can, I'm sorry,
You
Lori.
could still do the oath then.
Yes, I
Either
can do
way.
the oath.
Isn't there some state language that they have to be sworn in 30 days or something like that? So she can go and participate, even though she hasn't been sworn.
as she's not voting.
I'm just saying it would be easier for her than and us with her working till 4. If she's gonna come to that meeting, Karen can certainly do the oath. There's not a problem with that.
Yeah, thank you for.
I'm available Thursday at 7 here.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Thank
Um,
you.
That'll work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we are back to the agenda. The next item on the list will be the public hearing on our short-term rental law.
Yeah.
I've asked Chris Casay, our short-term rental officer, to be prepared to read us the changes if you would like. But if you have had time to review them, don't want Chris to read the changes, but
I brought them already. I'm good.
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, they're. Before everything's starting, section, yeah, sticking right out at you.
And Lauren, would you read the notice?
I don't have to read the notice. I just have to say that it was published in
Okay.
the legal notices and it was posted on our website.
Then I will open the public hearing on proposed local law number 2/2024 to repeal and replace local law number 1 of 2023, regulating short-term rentals in the town of Lake Luzerne. So the public hearing is open. Let's,
To explain to them.
change
That, yeah, just a snapshot, so they understand,
um,
or if you want Mary to do it.
sure, go ahead. It's, if you have one of the copies from over on the bench, it's the blue thing, so.
Yes.
So the major change in the short-term rental law was the mostly the notice provision. So instead of certified or registered mail, it's just gonna be first-class mail. And then the language for the fines, so that every week that someone is not in compliance with the short-term rental law, the fine will accrue by the week. So those were the really only changes. We cleaned up some language, but nothing that would affect the substance of the law.
Basically streamlined it.
Yep.
So we just streamlined it, made it smoother.
I'd like to add something that we added county to the list of entities whose laws, codes, rules, and regulations have to be adhered to.
That was always the case because a local law is a county law, but we just stuck the word county in.
All right, so just cleared up the language then. Okay. And that the garbage can rules have to comply with the town's garbage ordinance, whatever that may be at the moment. We also changed the firework rules to allow for New York State compliant fireworks, non-aerial fireworks essentially.
Any comments from the folks here in person? If you have some, please come up to the microphone and tell us your name and state your opinion. At this point, it's not really going to be a discussion. It's just the public having the opportunity to present information.
Diane Powers. Was it added on page 10 about each week a violation is beyond a deadline for compliance, that it's going to be accruing penalties? And if so,
That's always been in there.
that was always in there, that it was every
Correct.
week?
Yep.
Okay. So when you said something about the fees accruing weekly,
We just cleaned the language up, so we took out not more than 950 or 500 or 200.
okay, but you didn't change anything on the last page under F?
Under F, no, nothing.
Okay, okay. All right. So it was always weekly?
Yep.
Okay. Wait, okay. I guess that's it. So the fines are not changing at all?
The monetary amount did not change.
Okay. And the fine for a when someone's not registered at all, that hasn't changed either?
Nope,
Okay,
none of the numbers changed.
okay. I had one other question, but. I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in person? Anybody on Zoom, Chris?
So far, I don't have anyone raising their hands, but if any Zoom attendees would like to comment, please raise your hand within the Zoom app. And we can unmute
Mary.
you so you can comment.
Explain the suppression, the supersession. for That's
Sorry. This part is just a little awkward, given that you're substituting the original law. On section 3, part A, there's a statement in here that says that applications for existing short-term rentals can be submitted without completion of Warren County inspection and septic inspection. And that's not really true, is it?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Under section 3, page 2.
Yep.
A.
Yep.
There's just a statement that says that existing short-term rentals will be included in the 120 short-term rental permit cap. And then it says applications for existing short-term rentals can be submitted without completion of Warren County inspection and septic inspection.
Well, after 90 days, existing short-term rentals were not included as existing anymore because they had the 90 days to submit an application. So now they're in the pool with everybody else essentially. And after the 90 days from the local law being in effect, they would have had to have submitted the application complete with all required documents and the application fee at the same time. So
Back off a couple sentences.
I understand that, but the statement is just there saying that you can submit an application if you're an existing short-term rental without completion of Warren County inspection and septic inspection.
but then the sentence after that.
Well, because I guess because you've already had it done once. And if you have to get the permit, you can submit it without getting it done again because you've already passed the hurdle before. Is that what, I believe that was our intent with that,
It was to.
wasn't it? I think I remember that. We
It
talked
was to
about that.
gradually allow for permitting of these existing short-term rentals, allow them sort of an easier process to
Okay.
become.
Yeah, because
Permitted.
that was
So-
brought up to that, so I remember that.
So you're including part of the original law, like,
I'm not too.
And
sure
then
if that's
just-
what we're doing.
it's just awkward.
It doesn't apply anymore because that time
Right.
is passed.
And we could have added some more, we could have added, I mean, if you wanted to stretch it out a little bit and to make it more, make it clearer, I mean. I guess.
Guess I don't even know why it needs to be in there. It's just awkward because you're still including some things that were in the previous law and keeping them in there just
Mhm.
seems a little confusing.
I mean, we can certainly take it out, it's up to the board. But it has no effect by being in there. Right, Chris?
That's our interpretation of it too. We had discussed this. It's sort of a relic, I suppose.
I don't know. It just
So-
seems
so-
awkward.
Are we considering taking out the sentence? Applications for existing STRs can be submitted without completion of the Warren County.
I think you need to go back up to the sentence that says existing short-term rental owners must apply for a short-term rental permit within 90 days of the local law being filed.
Right, because now it's saying that you're still giving people 90 days.
My only
If
issue
you
is
read that,
is if someone hasn't applied within that 90 days, we can still go back and seek fines from them if we take it out that's no longer in there.
Okay.
That was the law. We talked about this and that was the
It's
logic
just-
to leaving it in there.
yeah, it's just weird because it's like if someone's actually not permitted currently, they're an existing short-term rental.
Well, they're
They're a
they're
non-compliant.
they're an illegal short-term rental at that point.
Because they didn't.
But they're
apply for a
existing.
Permit.
I guess
after June
because
1st.
there's no definition of that, it's awkward. It's so, if they're existing and renting, but not permitted. Is that what you're, so maybe it's
No.
just saying not permit, if you're not.
No, that was,
permitted-
I believe that was for existing STRs for the re-permit application process.
Yeah, it just all applies to like last year, you know,
That's correct. That,
yeah,
that's
so
what it's
that's
set
the
up for.
problem.
Is
Well-
so that the existing STRs, whether they were permitted or not, didn't matter. They weren't permitted because we didn't have a process, but the existing STRs, we wanted to give them some
Mhm.
extra time to get the county inspections done. So we were allowing them to go ahead and make reservations, carry
Continue
on,
operating, yeah.
but you had 90
Oh.
days to
Okay.
do the rest of the stuff.
Okay, I think it's still could be misinterpreted. That's all, because
So
it's
what-
saying.
Okay, so what are
What
we
if
doing?
we
What are we
added
gonna do
a
with this?
definition of existing STR and defined it as short-term rentals operating prior to June 1st, 2023? To kind of clarify that language, Mary, do you think that might be an effective way to?
Yeah,
handle that?
maybe instead of saying existing, just saying,
What if we said the existing non-permitted STRs and then leave the rest?
I don't know. I guess I'd want to look at it over the next month. I don't want to make a decision right here. I get it written before.
Mhm.
Okay,
No permit was required prior to the adoption of this law. So if a short-term rental was in town, it was just existing.
all right, is there anybody on Zoom that wants to comment about this proposed legislation?
I
No,
don't see any hands up.
Okay, then I'll
And-
close the
Well,
public
no.
hearing.
Do you want to leave it open?
Okay.
And then next month we can come back to this
I would-
after we've changed it?
yes,
What I would
please, yeah.
suggest.
Do you have to do?
Should we make a motion to table it? There's nothing really.
Leave it. open.
I'd just like to comment real quick that our office did not receive any comments via mail or email to be read at the public hearing.
Oh, thank you. I assume the clerk's office is the same. Lori didn't receive any.
Yeah,
Response.
it would have been given to them anyway. No,
All
we
right, so
didn't.
we'll work some more on that.
So we're leaving this open until the next regular town board meeting?
Yes,
The public hearing is closed.
No.
No,
So
you
we're
leave the
leaving it
public
open.
hearing open.
that way if we make changes, people can come comment. on
So
it.
to continue.
Okay,
To be continued, yeah.
so that would mean we don't have to re-advertise the public hearing?
That's correct.
Okay, so the public hearing is left open.
All right, hang on. See what the next,
Okay,
hang on, Jim. So
The
the
next,
next regular meeting will be the 4th of June, is that correct?
Yes, that sounds right.
So public hearing left open to continue at the June 4th regular town board meeting? Yep. Okay.
okay. Next item of business, would anybody attending in person wish to comment on pending resolutions? Resolutions that are pending for tonight? Would anybody on Zoom like to comment on any of our proposed resolutions for tonight? Keep in mind, folks, that we do have open public comment at the end of the meeting. But right now, any comments on the proposed resolutions? Okay, Laura, you're up.
Okay. Resolution to pay the bills of the 8th abstract of 2024 as presented, general fund vouchers 3268 to 3299, $21,706.76. Highway fund vouchers 3300 to 3317, $19,575.43, and SW1 Water District vouchers 3318 to 3320, $2,078.99.
Make a motion.
second,
Is that Tim? Megan? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Proposed resolution to accept minutes of March 5th.
I make a motion.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution to repeal and replace Resolution 59 of 2020 regarding garbage pickup requirements as written in the agenda.
Make a motion.
Second,
Tim and Annie? All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Proposed resolution to advertise for sealed bids for garbage pickup service. Bids to be received in the town clerk's office by 3 p.m. on June 18th, 2024. Bids to be opened at the June 18th, 2024 agenda meeting at 4 p.m. with the option to reject any or all bids.
I'll make a motion.
second,
just a whisker of discussion.
Mhm.
Council is working on that. She's got some existing ones from another community. I found one from a HOA, so we have some things to look at in terms of formats. So we should have that done in a few days, the actual RFP.
Do we look at piggybacking on the county?
Yep, so I called the county and they don't have any service that would be comparable.
Okay.
But so Julie from the county sent me some examples of towns that do this.
Anybody else want to comment before we vote on that one? All right,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution to advertise for sealed bids for roof repair on the town hall building. Bids to be received in the town clerk's office by 3 p.m. on June 18th. I didn't put that in there. Bids to be opened at the June 18th, 2024 agenda meeting at 4 p.m. with the option to reject any or all bids.
Make a motion.
Second.
Any
any
discussion?
discussion on that?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution to set SW2 Hudson Grove Water Service Rate for 2024-2025 billing period at $700 with a minimum of $350 due by June 30, 2024, and that is without penalty. Balance due by October 15th, 2024, including a 5% penalty. And the unpaid bills on after October 15th, 2024 be re-levied on the 2025 town and county tax bill with an additional 5%. And can I just explain a couple of things on that?
Sure.
Okay, so their normal due date has always been June 30 without penalty. And then there has always also been a 5% penalty through October 15th. Then if they still haven't paid, they get an additional 5% and re-levied onto the town and county bill.
What are they paying now? 500?
525.
525.
And it's gone up to 700.
Yeah, let me
That's
give you some background. Colleen sent us this information a week or so ago.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna kind of go over it a little bit. Right now, that line item is out of money. The first quarter bill was paid to Corinth, which is January, February, March. The next one will be due, I believe, in June. The last quarter from last year and the first quarter from this year used up the $10,000 tax levy. Might not be obvious how that works. There's a $10,000 tax levy that's proportioned to all the homeowners within that water district. It's a function of your assessed value and tax rate. Okay? So they pay that. In addition, they pay this individual lot fee of $525 proposed to be raised to $700. Right? That $10,000 tax levy was actually used to pay the last quarter of last year. So we're out of money on that line. Also, a bit of history. A year or two ago, staff recommended that we raise it from whatever it used to be to $575. And the board chose to only raise it to $525. Thanks, it's 50/50, so we probably should have gone more. The Corinth per gallon rate almost doubled.
Why is it doubled? Is there any explanation from Corinth?
I don't know. I haven't researched that. I know Gene contacted Corinth, but last I knew he had not actually been able to talk to them on phone tag.
He has tried to talk to them every year that they've raised it on us and he never gets anywhere with them. Our hands are tied. They're the ones providing the water.
Right, and
It's my understanding that their village is also paying that or more.
this tax bill has to go out when
I have to get these bills processed because we mail them out on the 15th of the month. Now, we've never given them the option to pay a portion of their bill before. Like half by June 30th. We've never given them that option. And we've been talking about it in our office that if you pass the resolution and decide that's what you want to do, we're going to also write a letter to put in their in with their bill, explaining that they now have the option to pay by credit card, which will help some people. And explain, thoroughly that if they, they certainly have the option to pay the full amount by June 30th without penalty, or half, and the other half gets penalized after June 30th. So we're gonna write up a letter that will explain that to people, and I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of calls.
Yeah.
We always do.
If it said that, I mean, because the way I'm reading it, it's a $700 bill.
Mhm.
They can pay $350 by June 30th, and then the other half is gonna be penalized.
Correct. So we'll put you can change this resolution. I just wrote this up.
No, but
Well,
if you're saying they can pay by September 30th without a penalty,
No,
oh, they can't.
no. June 30th without penalty.
I
Okay.
think the.
So the whole
difference-
thing is June 30th. They can pay
Correct.
$350. And
They'll
then if they're
have
gonna
the
pay the
option.
other $350, they'll only have the 5% on that other.
On that 350. It won't go, in other words, it won't go back to the whole thing.
Under the old setup,
Mhm.
if they'd sent you half, what happens?
We would send it back to them because we didn't have it in our resolution that we would
Except half.
accept partial payments. Because see, we mirror our collection for water off of our tax law. In tax law, you cannot pay a partial payment. But if you put it in your resolution to allow it, you can set it up however you please.
Do you have anything drawn up in your head already? Do you have something on? If you wanted to go that way, do you have a plan?
I have an idea, but
Okay.
I would type it up and have everybody look at it.
Okay,
And, if you say, oh, I think it should say this, or
okay,
we're good with that, because it's really not, we shouldn't be the only ones writing it up. It should kind of go by the board, not kind of, it should.
okay.
So, but we're willing to, because we know how we have to deal with these people. So.
Yeah, you're
you
dealing
know,
with that every day, so if you think
Yeah.
this it'd be better for them to break the payment in two, or
If they wish to, we
Yeah.
could give them that option. The only other options would be to do separate billings. And, I don't think we want to get into that.
break it into 12 payments, monthly water bill.
Colleen doesn't think that we'll get enough to pay our bills each
Right,
quarter
I was
that
just-
way. The cash flow won't,
I was just gonna say that.
yeah. And we can't collect 12 months out of the year because we have to re-levy at a certain point in the year.
Gotcha.
You do
You can certainly change. I wouldn't go lower on the minimum.
the average bill this past season has been, the average bill from Corinth has been 18,200. So.
All right, so moving forward, we yeah, maybe we should move forward, given the half payment option, or
Right, so there's
50%.
113 hookups.
Yeah,
it's just easier to swallow. You don't have to pay
If
half.
everybody paid half, that would be two numbers there, 113 times 350 would be 39,550 if everybody paid half. Now, by June 30th, which the next bill would then be covered. But reality is, some people don't pay at all, and the whole thing will go to their taxes. Some people will pay half, some people will pay the whole thing. And now with the option with credit card, we may see some of the people that normally don't pay anything and let it go to their taxes. We may actually see them come in and pay it. I don't know. Or they may come and pay half.
Hmm.
We don't know.
Right, you can't count on that.
No, we
Because-
can't.
Most people, not most, but a lot of people will wait till their income tax comes in to pay the whole month.
Well, they pay it in their tax bill.
Pay it in their taxes.
Yeah, because once they don't pay by October 15th, we're done collecting
done.
on that billing period, okay?
Yeah.
Any unpaid bills get re-levied onto your town and county bill for January.
Right,
And that bill has to be paid in full, so now the water bill is also being paid because it's in there.
Yeah.
So.
Hmm.
But it's hard to estimate who will or won't pay half, or, I mean, it'd be the first time we've done it this way.
Okay,
So
so
I don't,
not safe, not a safe bet.
it's not a safe bet
Okay.
either way.
So. Well,
I mean, I wouldn't
there we go.
bet on it.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, one other thing, okay, so they come and they have a $700 bill.
Mhm.
Say they have 500 they can pay right away.
Mhm.
Will you accept that or only?
Yes, and it'll be a minimum of 350 due. So if they want to pay 500, let them pay
And then
500
they'll only have the 5% on,
on to the balance of the
Yeah,
200.
Paid balance.
that's fair.
Good point.
There's, aside from doing 2 billings or, I mean, I think it's the easiest way to do it.
And no one likes to see those bills come in.
No.
I mean, I have a wealth, so I don't have
Right.
that, but I
I
have
will
my
tell
taxes
you-
coming in and I don't like to see those taxes coming
Yeah.
in.
I will tell you that as soon as those people get those bills, our phones
Yeah.
will be ringing
Oh,
and
yeah.
our door will be dinging.
Yeah,
I can guarantee it. Because we're the ones that hear about it.
right.
So we're trying to figure out ways that it would be easier for everybody,
But given that option.
which
of
they've
paying
never
half
had
Or
before.
more, they have or they haven't.
They've never had an option to pay part of it by the due date.
Well, that shed some light for me. Minimum of,
Discussion?
No, I think it's very reasonable. Unfortunate that it has to go up this much, but
right,
the best agreement.
It's handy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know what I used to pay, it's all lot more than this in a different community,
Mhm.
like 3 times.
So
But
do
we're
you
not in-
want this resolution to
I-
say anything different or worded different?
no, I just wanted to make sure that I was reading it the way
Okay,
you were.
So does it,
yeah, a minimum of
Does it say-
350 due by June 30.
Okay.
is
does
what
it
it
say what
says.
you want to say?
Yeah,
Do it.
I'm okay with it.
I make a motion. For the proposed resolution to reset the Hudson Grove water $700 resolution exactly as typed.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, carried. Resolution to enter into an agreement with Warren County Youth Bureau and accept funds in the amount of $2,791 and to authorize Supervisor Merlino to execute such agreement.
Make a motion.
Second,
All in favor?
Do I need to recuse myself on that, being on the board for Warren County? Probably.
okay,
Yeah.
do we have a roll call?
Yep. Councilman Morton,
Yes.
Councilwoman McMahon,
Recuse.
Councilman Hanlon,
Yes.
Councilman Niles.
Yes.
Proposed resolution to amend resolution, and I have to look up the number, to include the surplus, include surplus of the 2006 Jeep Liberty and trade towards the purchase of the replacement vehicle for water purification department, which is the vehicle that was just purchased. We just have to add that wording to that resolution because being that we were trading it in, it needed to be surplused. So we just missed that language in the other one.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, carried. Resolution to enter into an agreement with Innovative Technologies for IT services for preventative maintenance as per proposal and estimate number 1049.
Make a motion.
I'll second it and ask if there is discussion.
Are they?
We have a Paul Tracy on Zoom. Is that the contacted the IT company?
I don't know,
No, that's,
but there's no public discussion right now about these resolutions.
Okay. Yeah, that's,
Maybe he could explain what you were.
Okay.
I think we've all seen the proposals. My opinion is we should go with the better proposal, even though it's more. But I would ask the board if we want to maybe add a little blurb in the resolution pending approval by our budget officer.
I did ask Colleen today, because we were talking about it and I said, well, is it in the budget? And she says there's money in that line. In the technology line.
Okay, well, I believe that we have to have the firewall on there, so we really don't have an option of which one we're going with. We have to go with the one with the,
I just got a message from Paul Tracy. If you do want him to speak, we can open up the microphone.
Sounds like you made up your mind.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I think
Yeah, we're good. As long as you want that like Annie wanted.
Dave,
So
So is the higher amount
Yeah, I'm
number
good.
1049 or the other one?
The higher amount.
higher,
1049 is the higher.
Okay, that's the one Colleen told.
Estimate 1049.
Okay.
Are we paying for something similar right now?
We pay on an as needed basis.
Okay.
It's probably not as much, but we probably aren't getting the service that we would get with this either.
How much time are you guys spending calling these guys when we're having issues?
Oh.
Okay.
Lately,
Lately.
yeah.
I'm good.
and then there's the insurance company issue, just so it's
Right.
Mhm.
on the record, our insurance company has told us upgraded or more coverage.
yeah, because today's climate with the hacking. So
Right.
Do you guys think we should add the phrase about budget officer? or-
no, it's, I don't know.
No, I'm good with it.
No.
We're gonna wait. It's,
Did we get a first and second?
Councilman Hanlon and Councilman Niles,
Any more discussion?
Mm-mm.
all in favor?
aye,
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution to allow the PTSA to hold their fourth annual cardboard race at the Wayside Beach on June 15th from 1 to 3 PM and provide proper insurance.
make a motion.
Second. Any discussion?
It's a cardboard race.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's move.
Opposed?
What is that? I thought you were saying, what is it?
The kids build cardboard boats and they race them across the way. It's hilarious.
It's really cute.
It's hilarious.
Cardboard, yeah.
Interesting.
It's a good time.
My boat sunk last year.
Do.
It was bad. No,
Once a float, do better.
my kids are upset though.
Okay, this is discussion and possible resolution to hire a dog control officer at an annual salary of $8,996 to replace Brett Moulton, who resigned as of May 3rd. Our office has been, talking back and forth with some other Warren County towns. Nobody has really pinned anybody down yet. So, I mean, at this point, if there's a dog running at large or a dog issue, one would call the sheriff.
We don't have a candidate in mind.
Well, Bolton, I think her name is Jody, reached out to Cindy this morning and said that they have one applicant. But she didn't say who it was or anything like that.
Can I have something?
Yes,
Doesn't the county provide dog control?
no, not for each town.
What was that whole thing they went through with the contract with SPCA?
That's for a shelter, isn't it? Or to care for a dog that they bring in.
Jean talked to
I'm
the
sure.
ASPCA at one point, and there was some reason that some
No way.
major reason why we didn't. I don't know. I don't recall what that was.
I'm pretty sure the county has a contract to do dog control in the whole county.
So we.
Syracuse County has theirs down there at the jail.
But I remember.
next to it.
the whole RFP process.
Yeah. I would assume that. Go ahead.
Should there be more discussion on that?
Yeah.
You want to check on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mary.
The resignation, for Brett
Mhm.
says March 3rd, where you're having May 3rd.
May 3rd.
But the letter that his resignation letter is March 3rd,
And it doesn't say as of May
as
3rd?
of March 3rd.
Oh, that he was a
23.
typo. You didn't get the corrected one. Cindy had a corrected one that said May 3rd. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Nobody first or seconds it, then it dies at this point. So we'll
More work needed.
bring it up later.
so you're gonna check on the ASBPA contract? Okay. You may be right. I don't know. Oh. So the next thing, discussion on possible agreement with LaBarge or the LaBarge Group
Yeah. I'll just
Engineering.
Give everybody an update. Mary is working with LaBerge. Have you heard back?
I haven't heard back, but I did send them a letter.
So we have corresponded with them saying we don't like your contract. So
That's where we're at with that. Okay.
Okay.
I'm hoping you all got a copy of that.
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
So further discussion.
Yep.
Okay. Proposed resolution allowing this. Oh, yeah, okay, sorry. Proposed resolution allowing the school to use the town hall parking lot on June 3rd to park approximately 40 vehicles at the rear end of the town hall parking lot while they are on a school trip.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. We're on to reports.
Highway Super Rondul. We've been working down on the Schofield Flats for DEC. They have a grant, so we've been down there. Pickup starts the 15th with hydrant flushing. And our roads,
I
we
think that's-
ground that up and we have been up there changing culverts. So that's what we've been doing lately.
Ron,
May
I
15th,
I think it's 13th.
Is it 13th?
Monday,
13th or 15th?
Yeah, let me look on the
May
website.
13th is Monday.
It starts on a Monday.
Was it? Okay.
Let me
And
just
I
make-
would say 13th then.
Okay, you got that, okay.
Ron, what are you guys doing at Schofield Flats? I was just down there.
They're changing the fireplaces out. We're digging a new hole for the privies of the outhouses. And, they squared off a big, huge area that they had stone delivered.
Yep.
We put that down and, the driveway, we're putting rocks around it and putting stone down there too. And up on top.
Are you putting stone back, like refilling their takeout area there that got washed out?
They didn't say anything about that.
No?
I can
Okay.
ask her about that.
I'm just
But they
curious.
Didn't say anything about that. And then Pikes Beach, there's 2 campsites down there that were doing the same thing, so.
I saw all the stuff down there. I was just curious. I didn't know you guys were doing it.
That it? Zoning enforcement, Karen.
Okay, we provided you with our zoning report. I'm not sure if Chris emailed it today, but if not, we'll get it out to you tomorrow.
Yes, he did.
Okay. And I just want you to note that last month we didn't issue any permits, but this month we issued 21. And we've already issued 5 in 3 days. So things are busy in my office. I also wanted to bring to your attention, some of you have already received some emails and conversation from the public about a proposed subdivision that is going on up in the Sagamore Road area, Milrose Lane area. And I just want to put out there on the record and clarify for the board that the Lake Luzerne Woods LLC is proposing a conservation subdivision. The planning board has followed the process that's laid out in the zoning ordinance. It's a planning board action. It's not a town board action. It's a subdivision, which is done through the planning board. The only time the town board would get involved is if someone proposes a change to either the zoning ordinance or the subdivision regulations. The town board does not approve or deny a subdivision. Once the planning board accepts the concept plan, which they did at the last planning board meeting, the next step is for the applicant to decide if they want to move forward. If they do, they then prepare the preliminary plat for a major subdivision. The requirements of that are stated in the subdivision rules. Because this is considered a major subdivision, they'll also be working with the New York State Department of Health, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. Once and if the planning board receives a preliminary plat, at some point, a public hearing will be called for. It will be at that public hearing that the public will get a chance to state their concerns and the planning board to consider those concerns. The review of a major subdivision is a long and lengthy process. So I just wanted to bring this forward because I've been asked to pass on comments from people already. And it's not time yet. The public will get a chance to talk about this subdivision at a public hearing if they move forward and actually present a preliminary plat of the subdivision. I am only the advisor to the planning board. I get no say in the vote. So I just wanted to make sure everyone understood what the process was because there's a lot of talk and emails going around about this subdivision, and the planning board must and is following the correct process to review this subdivision.
I appreciate that you looked into that and wrote us that email because people have been asking me about that.
I can provide the balance of the board with this email that I sent out today because this was in a reply to an email that I received that had Councilman Niles's email on it and also Supervisor Merlino's. The rest of you were not included in the email, but I can certainly forward and provide the whole conversation too. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks.
Okay. Clerk's office, Deputy Clerk, Laura.
I gave you our clerk report for April and our assessor, Melissa Janier, came to our office the other day and asked that I bring to the board. Fred Gillis is an alternate to the Board of Assessment Review. And there is a vacancy left by Councilwoman McMahon.
That would be me.
And she would like the board to pass a resolution to appoint Mr. Gillis to the Board of Assessment Review to replace Annie McMahon's term. And grievance day is May 29th, from 4 to 8 p.m.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean,
And she needs to have the alternate appointed because one of the members is not going to be here.
right, so I'd like to move forward with that.
Okay. So you want to introduce the resolution?
Yes, I'd like to introduce the resolution. I'm not too sure about the proper verbiage. Wording.
It would be to appoint Fred Gillis to the Board of Assessment Review to fill the vacancy of Annie McMahon.
Sounds good.
So Councilman. Do we have a second?
I'll second. Is there any discussion? Everybody knows who Fred Gillis is.
Yes,
Mhm.
very well known.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I
Hearing none.
recuse.
Pardon me?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, Annie, okay, I'm gonna call roll then.
Okay.
Yes.
Councilman Hanlon, or I'm sorry, Councilman Morton,
Yes.
Councilwoman McMahon,
Recuse.
Councilman Hanlon,
Yes.
Councilman Niles.
Yes.
Okay, and we already discussed SW2 water bills being processed. Those will go out in the mail by the 15th of May. Gives them a couple extra weeks to call us. And Lake Luzerne Water District bills, we'll start reading meters the week of June 1st. And the bills normally get processed and the goal is to have them out by June 25th. And that's all I have.
That's all you have.
That's all.
Councilman Martin.
I'd like to go last if it's okay.
Sure. Just yell at me when we get there, okay? 'Cause I already checked you off.
Okay.
Councilwoman McMahon,
I am good right now. Thank you.
Councilman Tim.
Councilman Hamlin. Yeah, the position that Fred is filling, do we need an alternate now for the? Back
You
him up.
can, we've never had alternates before that.
Okay.
But, you certainly can kind of ask around.
Because you said we had someone who's going to leave in the future too.
No,
you make
she's
it
just
known?
not gonna be there for that meeting.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
And they'd meet once a year.
all right.
Yeah, they do it all day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know if there's any state, excuse me, state recommendations on whether or not to have an alternate? No, no.
don't know. I can look at it though.
Would everybody feel comfortable? Or how do y'all feel about the putting the word out or not? Is it is a necessity or?
Just, can I have till the end of tomorrow? Let me just see if.
Yep. Other than that, I have nothing.
Okay.
Okay, I have one thing and I apologize for the 11th hour of this. Was contacted yesterday by the Warren County Soil Water Conservation District. And they have got a grant, going to be hiring a graduate student. And they put together a program to survey several lakes. Right now, they have 6 signed up. They'll do 24 water tests in each lake. They'll do it 4 times a year. The samples will be taken to Adirondack Community College and they'll be testing for chlorine constituents and E. coli, which are found only from man-made solutions associated with wastewater systems. So we have the opportunity here to test Lake Luzerne at a cost of $2,000, which is approximately half the cost of what it costs otherwise. They're putting the program together. We have the budget. The county gives us $42,000 a year to take care of our lakes. We're gonna be well under that this year. I have a little blurb here, Lori. I think that in minutes maybe or something.
So.
I-
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't know. If you're comfortable. So you can answer the questions or if I need to go back.
Do you need a decision tonight? I mean, we got a long summer ahead of us. Might want to wait until people are populated around the lake first before we start testing. Might want to get the busy season first.
Well, we are. It's gonna
Yeah,
start in my.
Well, after school lets out and
Yeah, the test.
people in the
would be-
heights, people in the heights don't get up there consistently until
Yeah,
a certain time of the year.
Chicken scratch in there tells you approximately when the test will be done.
Oh, okay.
The Memorial Day about there around the 4th of July, early August and then Labor.
What kind of chickens you use for that?
Left-handed.
All right. So if it's gonna be money well spent, do you think it's necessary? Do you think it's,
The last time,
I mean,
and maybe somebody else can recall, the last time this type of test was done was several years ago. Do you remember, Pat, when they did? Yeah. It was probably it was closer to 10 years.
what do they find?
Nothing.
Okay. And I'm sure our septic systems are better since then. 10 years, I'm sure, I don't know. If it's necessary or,
Well,
I don't know.
last weekend I attended the New York State Federation of Lake Association Conference.
Okay.
And there was a ton of good messages there. One of the messages was that the types of problems that lakes are having, it's like anything else. The sooner you find out about it, the less it's going to cost you to fix it. And of course, the less impact that whatever it is going to have, like Eurasian water milfoil. If we had jumped on that 20 years ago, we'd have it under control. You know? that's just one example. There are all kinds of other examples, oxygen level in the lake, harmful algal blooms, there's all kinds of stuff like that. But to have this kind of data available for $2,000 it's a real deal, and it will be useful data.
Is it a solution looking for a problem?
Absolutely. But
to
if
some
there is a problem, we want to know
Yeah.
ahead of time.
What's our budget look like for this sort of thing? Do we have money in the budget?
We get 42,000 from the county. Right now, the only money that we've appropriated would be the $9,000 studies, plant studies.
Do you foresee any more? Or what else, what would the balance be spent on?
I don't have anything else in mind at this point.
You can't help out on that water bill or? It's some water and water.
County contract is reasonably specific.
Can we
reason
pause
for
the
that-
discussion for a minute to change the tape, please?
Sure.
Annie, the reason you can't is because the water districts are special districts.
No.
Okay, he was looking. He looked like a little puppy dog. This one.
I'll share the right.
Oh.
We like to volunteer for things that.
I can write it right off the top of my head. That's why I volunteered to write that one. 'Cause I know.
Yeah.
I'll say this on the record, did you get a price to dash harvest? Oops. Pull out your edge water role play with the boat, if we need. All implications. Gonna bring up our trip to open. Wow. You're going last anyway, so.
I'm going, yeah, I didn't know.
I didn't.
It might work into what I'm.
I think it's valuable information.
Yeah.
Okay, we're rolling again.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back on the discussion of, moving forward or not, with the county light testing program, I think we should go ahead. Well, one other fact, the only potential unforeseeable that I can think of in terms of taking care of our lakes this year would be if we have to divert, suction harvest in Lake Luzerne in milfoil. I did get a price, and the price is approximately $1,700 a day. I think worst case, we would have 5 or 6 days. Last year, we spent 52,000. But our video surveys and stuff that we did late last summer showed that the milfoil was gone. So
But this is about the, what do you want to do with this right here?
I'd like to move forward with this. Councilman Martin asked, how's that budget line item?
Oh, okay.
And what are our other potential?
So we had the money available. It's $2,000.
Answer to that.
Okay,
If we don't spend it, we lose it.
Yeah, it's a one.
I'll make a motion that we spent that $200 or the $2,000.
2,000.
You're ready to spend, huh?
Not gonna lose it.
200,000?
Okay, I'll make a motion.
I already made
Annie
that.
made
You
the
made the
motion. I
motion.
just need a second.
You can second.
I'll second
Okay.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
it. Okay. That was the only thing I had, so we're back to, if it's okay with you, Mary, we'll go back to Councilman Morton, or do you want to wait till after?
No, I'm good. I'll go now. That's fine.
You go.
I just wanted to mention the playground grant that we got for the town. And I wanted to clear up some things regarding grants. I did make a post on Facebook just informing people that we did receive the grant. Some of the feedback, the majority of the feedback that I got was very positive. However, there was some feedback from members of the community that didn't understand necessarily the grant process. They were questioning why we're going for money for a playground when there are other needs in the community. So I just wanted to clarify for those that don't understand the grant process that that sort of money is allocated for specific purposes. And if we don't apply for it, we wouldn't get that money. But just because we're applying for a grant for a playground doesn't mean we're not applying to fix the water system or other more pressing needs in the community. And I think that's important to note going forward as we continue to try to follow the town's master plan and apply for grants that may seem like more, for lack of a better word, frivolous, unneeded items that would benefit the community but aren't necessarily pressing infrastructure needs. That if we apply for those grants and we obtain those grants, it's not going to take away at all from other things such as the water system, the sewer system, and things like that that need to be done. So I just wanted to make that point. And then I also wanted to bring up, I was asked to participate in a series of stakeholder meetings for the Warren County Outdoor Recreation Economy Strategic Plan. And we had a meeting this past week, which I thought was very productive. They're kind of refining this plan, and it really seems like the county is taking seriously all the assets that our region has, the impact that it has on our economy. And some of the points that were brought up were eliminating red tape to try to improve things. For example, if the county wants to do something, the state or the town wants to do something, maybe on county property, or the county wants to do something and the state says no, that sort of thing. So streamlining that process to actually get things done. That was one of the things that I brought up that was very difficult, especially in my experiences. You have areas in this community that have immense potential, but there's 3 or 4 different municipalities that have a say in what goes on there, and it really tends to stop improvements and things moving forward. A couple of interesting numbers that came up at that meeting was that the recreation or the tourism economy makes up 1/3 of the workforce in this county, which is pretty incredible, and 22% of the total economy. Another number that came out was that without tourism in the economy or in the county, the average taxpayer's tax bill would go up $3,200 a year. Just to kind of emphasize the impact that tourism has on Warren County. And that kind of leads into my next thing. Jim and I went down to Albany and met with a number of advocacy groups, just talking about some of the issues that we have in the town of Lake Luzerne, obtaining grants, such as the water grant that we've failed numerous times on achieving, why that may be. And one of the things that came up kind of consistently is that the reality of our situation is that we are a Republican town with a Republican board with Republican representatives in the state, which is heavily democratically controlled. And whatever side of the aisle you're on, the reality of that is no matter how good our representatives are, a lot of times they're not going to get done because, quite frankly, the people that have the power in Albany don't have voters here. It doesn't matter if they help us. It doesn't help them get reelected. And that's just, to be quite frank, how it works. So Jim and I met with a couple of these advocacy groups, and our intent was to share our problems, see if they had any potential solutions to our problems, and then, of course, see how much it would cost for them to help us advocate for us in Albany as a community. For example, Lake George has dealt with a number of these different advocacy groups, and they just got a $10 million grant, revitalization grant. Same thing with Ticonderoga. That was something that came up. So just exploring how much cost that would be and how much potential reward there may be in terms of grant money and things like that. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that we were looking into that and kind of the reasoning behind why we were looking into that. Another thing, I really think the timing is right. And maybe I'm just overly optimistic because we got the playground grant, but one of the things that came up within these advocacy meetings was they asked for a wish list from the town. Basically 5 items that you would want to see in your town. Obviously water, it was our main thing. The infrastructure with the water and possibly the sewer, a sewer system downtown, that sort of thing. If we're thinking big, large goals, which is what they encourage us to do. But other things that would go on with that, which again, bringing in the reality of politics, that that's a water system in Lake Luzerne is not necessarily going to excite the governor to come down and want to cut a ribbon. But more exciting projects may that would benefit the town, such as enhancing the access to some of our natural resources and things of that nature. So I came up with a couple of ideas just this afternoon. This is just to kind of throw some things out there for people to think about as potential items on that wish list. Obviously, the water, I shouldn't say obviously, in my opinion, the water infrastructure would be number 1 on that wish list. But in terms of more exciting things to kind of engage the politicians where it matters and stay in line with our town's master plan is something like a walkway, expanding the walking trail that was is behind the tennis courts to follow up all the way up to connect with Bridge Street. Now, I didn't think that this could be possible at first because I thought of the private property that was along that area. But in looking at the tax maps, there's 2 properties that are not town owned there with frontage on the river, and that would be the public library and the church. So exploring the possibility of working with them to establish a trail that would give great access to Rockwall Falls in terms of a viewing area, and then continuing up to connect with River Road. It would also be in line with the county's, the first wilderness trail that they have already kind of established in connecting that. So I did print out just a couple of maps that I can share with you guys, just to kind of give you a general idea. And I know I'm just kind of throwing this at you, but this is a long-term thing and just something to think about. So if you look at that map down towards the bottom, that red line there would be the connection with Bridge Street. And then that rail, the red trail kind of following up. As I said, the majority of those properties are town owned, with the exception of the public library and the church. So the town owns that riverfront, and it goes, I believe it's an untapped resource for the town. So something to look into, again, as a wish list item. Another thing that, I must not have actually brought it with me, but there's a piece of property up by Reservoir Road. I was looking at the tax map. There's 123 acres up there that's designated as a park. I wanted to get more information about that because I never knew there was a park up there. Does anybody ever access that for a park?
That is not a park.
What is it?
It's basically forest and I think it's the water district land. It was years ago, they did change the designation to parkland because they were the county wanted to do a reenactment of
Indian.
last of the
Last of
Mohegans,
Mohegans, yeah.
and so they were looking to build an amphitheater somewhere in Warren County to do this. And that land came up in discussion as possibly being one of the places that they would look at, but Lake George ended up getting doing it instead. In the end, Luzerne didn't get it, but that it was changed, and this was quite a number of years ago that was changed for that purpose only back then.
Okay, it was never changed back though, correct?
I know that Melissa has been looking at changing it back. She's done a couple of them. Melissa being the assessor, you would have to talk to her about that. But she could explain the process of it all certainly better than I can because I'm not the assessor, but I do know some of that history because that land is one of the lands that's come up in the discussion for that bike trail that Mr. Reed was looking to
Mhm.
push through in that area. And
That's
so-
actually, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So when I was researching, obviously the majority of that land up there is owned by it's the water district land. But that particular parcel just says town of Lake Luzerne and it says that
there-
it's zoned park or
Okay,
town park or something of that nature.
may not be part of the water district then,
Yeah, I believe it was transferred in 2005, at least
Okay.
according to the county records. I don't know how accurate those are. But again, that's kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself. I just wanted to highlight the potential, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And Mr. Reed brought up the potential for a bike trail. And I was doing some research of other towns in the Adirondacks and what they have to offer. And again, in accordance with our master plan of basically coming up with an identity for the town of outdoor recreation destination, that sort of thing, to bring in people more of my demographic, 30s, late 20s, that sort of thing, which is severely lacking. I think, what was the number that we came up with in town? It's like 12%.
Between 18 and 25.
Well, 18 to 20, but I think it was 6%. The next one, 25 to 40 or something like that, was only 6% of the community. And those young families are moving out, which is causing the school to decline and things of that nature. So in trying to attract those young families, putting in something like a bike trail or mountain bike park, that sort of thing. A community like Long Lake actually has that already. They have a town-owned, I shouldn't say operated, but they have trails and things like that.
MPT runs right through it.
What's that?
MPT runs right through it.
Yeah,
Brings
yeah.
so much business.
Yeah,
to-
yeah.
And do it this summer.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of potential. And I also, Jim and I had an email discussion today regarding the town's website and kind of revamping the town's website. And while we were having that discussion, I was on the Long Lake website and I always thought, and I don't mean to knock whoever does Lake Luzerne's website, but in looking at Lake Luzerne's website in comparison to Long Lake's website, where it's evident that they're trying to bring people in, trying to attract people. It's set up more like a business website in a lot of ways to highlight what that community offers. And I encourage you guys to take a look at that website just to get an idea of what I'm talking about, but much more user-friendly, much better job of describing what the community has to offer, where those attractions are located. And yeah, that's it. I don't want to be too long-winded.
You could probably have Jamie Krantz.
Mhm.
She's our gal that does the website. I'm sure that if you guys wanted to meet with her and go over stuff about the website, I'm pretty sure she would be willing to do that.
Sounds.
all I got.
One thing, problem I have with the website is it's trying to serve two functions. They're kind of mixed together.
You got to look at the Long Lake website because they do a much better job of separating those two things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two things I'm talking about are town business
Yes.
and tourism.
Yes. Yeah.
So when Jamie started doing it, the website was already set up.
Yeah.
Just a little background. The website itself was already set up. And so she just, when she was hired to take and do our postings and stuff, that's pretty much where she went with it. She has changed a few things. But I mean, if there was something that Councilman Niles asked me to have her fix, boom, right away. I sent her email, got the email right back. It's all set. So she's very willing to work with everybody. So, I mean, I don't see where
Yeah. And I don't mean to knock that in any way because I'm sure she's not getting much direction from us as to what to
No,
change.
she's kind of on her own.
Yeah.
you know.
She didn't design it. Design a long time.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was designed.
My point is, I think we should look at that because
Yeah.
it's, that's the first impression for a lot of people nowadays of the town.
I wonder, do you have a contact at Long Lake?
I don't,
Yeah, I wonder if they had it professionally done, so to speak.
I believe they did just by looking at it.
Might have been.
I'd be more than willing to spend time with, just a meeting with her or anybody else, but
I think it would be worth it.
anything else, Dave?
No, that would be all. Thanks.
Attorney Kassane, you said you had nothing? Nothing. Okay, last item,
If I did, I don't, right?
let's got shorter.
Was it Mary?
Or open to the public here. Anybody wants to say anything?
Dane, I was gonna ask about the playground, so you answered everything. Is there a date where that's gonna start?
I don't
Or
believe so.
is there any kind of potential to
Right
where we're
now,
going
it's a-
forward with?
Contract with state won't even be issued until early fall.
Okay,
But before then, there's kind of some background stuff we can do, which.
my understanding is that the town is looking for like 200,000 in order to build this playground.
Yeah.
And they're gonna seek for outside bidders for the building and
Grants for
stuff.
125,000. So. Almost three
So,
quarters of the way there.
A few more steps, right?
Yeah,
Okay, Dane, in response to your, the trails on River Road connecting from the back of folk school and stuff, the comprehensive plan, I was on that.
Mhm.
And that was brought up a lot. So Tracy has a lot of information on that. I don't know if you wanted to reach out to her at some
Okay.
point on there, because that is something she definitely was looking into. We talked about that floods, so it wouldn't be able to be on the riverside.
Yeah.
It would have to be on the other side. Like a path or something on walkway, bike trail, anything like that, because to make a path to go up River Road, that floods, so it would be a waste.
Yeah. So I believe the first wilderness trail that's up there, if you look at the tax maps, it's town property all the way up until you just hit River Road. And then it stays on the left side of the road. So on the river side of the road, for approximately an acre before it crosses the road by where the pole lines come in. And then it's on the right side of the road. So it's already established, for that particular trail. So that connection would already be on the right side of the road.
I think that would be wonderful on there. It would be nice because we ride our bikes and walk on that. It's great. But if you want to get more information, Tracy does have some information on that also.
definitely fits in the comprehensive plan.
Yeah,
Her whole Main Street.
Right.
Tie it all together.
it was brought up a lot. a
Yeah,
lot of
well,
discussion.
that was I wasn't really part of the comprehensive plan at all, but in looking at the town and how do you bridge that gap? Because right now there's the folk school, there's the courts and everything. There's the trail that goes from the folk school and the courts up to the lake, to the Indian Trail, the museum's right there. Then you have that gap before you get to where Stone's Pharmacy is, Luzerne Market, hopefully a restaurant eventually somewhere in that area. But that would be a great way to bridge that gap,
Definitely.
in my opinion. So I think it's worth looking
Lemonade
at.
stand.
Lemonade stand.
Going up there.
Yeah,
And-
second location.
One more for Ronnie. We rode our bikes down in there. Pikes is looking great. You guys are doing a ton of work in there. It looks fantastic. Is that going to be the town's responsibility to take care of that cleanup, or is that going to be DEC? Because is that going to be permits, still needing permits and all that to be in there?
I guess if you're handicapped, you get a permit and then they'll give you the code for the gate and then they can go down in. But for people without handicap, they gotta park up top and walk down.
Okay. Because you guys are doing a lot of work down in there. It looks nice. I just hate for somebody to ruin it if DEC is not going to take care of that. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else? There's only one person left. Anybody on Zoom, Chris?
I haven't seen any activity. Anyone on Zoom wants to comment, please raise your hand.
Great.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Make a motion adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.